In this exciting episode of Final Fantasy XIII, we finally get to the part of the game we paid for.
Sarah! Is this for real?
You know, I've got to admit, this is probably my favorite location in the entire game. God, I love the way the crystal waves look. It's so good.
Yeah, this location, actually looks like it had some thought put into it. Not just for, how it looks, but actually how it fits into, the structure of the world and as its place in the plot.
We fell from up there, and the lake turned to crystal?
You'll notice this will be pretty much the only time in the game we look from our current location to a previous location in a way that makes sense.
How should I know? We're alive. How?
Sarah! No one survives a fall from that high, not without a miracle. Sarah saved us!
Sarah?
Or a fancy gravity device.
It's all your
I was
fault.
going to say, and just how exactly did that happen, Snow?
Watch out! What did I just do?
You unlocked the combat system!
You used the power of the sea. The Fal'Cie cursed us. We're the sea now.
Alright, it's time for a real battle.
Real battles in Final Fantasy XIII revolve around three very important steps. 1. Suppress the enemy. 2. Stagger the enemy. And 3. Murder the enemy.
That's a good summary of that. So we have two roles down there in the bottom right corner, Com and Rav. Snow and Vanille are Ravagers. They are functionally your black mages. Their goal is to drive the chain gauge way up.
Their attacks all do a whole load of chain damage, but enemies recover from it quite quickly.
Lightning, on the other hand, is our commando. Her attacks do not boost the chain gauge very much, but they slow it down when it's emptying. They're also going to be your major damage dealers. They're functionally your fighters.
So like any good Final Fantasy game, the good approach to combat is to have a nice combination of classes that work together to do stuff, of which the core is going to be your commandos and ravagers, who are getting enemies murdered. And the other roles that we'll get access to later all do various things that support you in this task.
I don't even know you, but you have to go and attack that thing?
One thing this game does not reuse from older Final Fantasies is just even the concept of physical attacks being free and magic attacks costing something. All the attacks in Final Fantasy XIII are free, in air quotes, because all you have to do is charge them up.
Watch it!
But the point of it is, you have to be using your column A attacks and your column B attacks in order to get shit done. It's a good system, I like it.
Sorry.
Everything is gonna be alright. You'll see. Come on. Off we go.
Oh boy. Of course, now that we're out of a cutscene, our characters will start having incidental dialogue amongst themselves. A little mini-game you can play as you see all this incidental dialogue is try and note all of the lines that are clearly the result of the level designers not knowing what the hell just happened in the plot.
Alright, so this here is the paradigm deck. This tells us what paradigms that we are allowed to use in combat. So we're going to go ahead and create a new one called Diversity. Lightning and Snow are Ravager and Commando, and Vanille is a medic, which obviously heals you.
Paradigm is, of course, a word that this game is using in an entirely made-up context that literally just means, here's what roles your guys are. Any resemblance to the real-life word paradigm is entirely coincidental.
Trust the soldier to keep her cool through this mess.
And later we'll see how the system actually works in an interesting way, but for
If we
now,
don't know our focus, how do we complete
it's basically just choosing everyone's jobs.
I think I saw it.
Saw what?
That is how a focus comes down, people. The fal'Cie, they don't spell it out with clear-cut instructions. All you get is a hazy glimpse.
Saz clearly hasn't figured all of this out in the last 5 minutes.
That's what they say. You know, legends and all. Legends. Yeah.
Well, you know, he had a lot of time to think while they were falling,
Did you see anything?
you know, from way the fuck up in the sky.
I just... It's all kind of foggy, but I saw this big, towering...
What? Wait a minute. Hold on now. Do we all have the same dream?
You see, not even a minute ago, Saz was being all know-it-all and knowing exactly what was going on. And hey, haven't you people heard the legends? And then he's all, wait, what?
So, we all saw the same dream.
I'm also impressed that he was able to pay enough attention to that vision to get massive and towering from it.
You mean that was our
Honestly, to
focus?
me it just looked like a bunch of
How are we
smoke.
supposed to know what to do from that?
That's the tricky part. The dream's the only hint the fal'Cie gives us. Figuring out what to do with it, that's our job.
Okay. We're pulselessly, right? Enemy's a cocoon. So, does that mean that our focus is... Are we supposed to...
Save her.
Say what?
Our focus is to protect Cocoon.
Really? Okay. And why's that?
Sarah told us.
Even Vanille is calling
Let's do
Snow
it.
out on this.
We're all in this together.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look for Sarah. She ought to be nearby.
I think somebody just figured that somebody in this party needs to be taking on the role of the blind optimist.
Jeez.
I guess
Boy can't
it
stay
is
still.
in character for Snow, I'll give it that much.
He is being a moron. It's nothing if not internally consistent.
Alright, so that little thing there helpfully tells us when the game decides to arbitrarily change our combat members.
Get used to that.
And that is something it will do a lot.
We need to find a way
And
out.
every time it does,
Worry about
it
everything
completely
else later.
undoes your paradigm deck. So, yeah, it's a huge pain in the ass.
Fortunately, this time it didn't do that. But that's an exception. And later, oh lord, how we will see how dumb this gets when it does that. So yeah, you'll notice that a lot of these enemies now have actual reasonable amounts of stagger gauge, so you have to get them up to like 130-40% to get them staggered. And your commandos will only be adding like tiny bits of a percent at a time. So you can see when a Ravager hits them, it gets a big boost.
That's what I'm talking about.
And here's where the column A and B attacks come into it. Of course, here's the thing though, we might also need healing, which is why we've got the medic. But if someone's concentrating on healing your guys, they're not murdering the other guys. So you might not get the all-important 5-star rating.
That's a lot of enemies.
Yeah, that's a pretty succinct summary of it.
Really, the combat system is kind of impressive in how it's kind of difficult to succinctly explain all of it. The game just dumps a lot of stuff on you, and leaves you to figure it out. And it kind of makes you feel smart when you know it all and have to explain it to your friends. Kind of.
Also, note these flying assholes are back. They can't dodge magic.
Yeah.
It's a nice little thing, I think.
Yeah, the game does have a couple of like interesting variations on things that enemies can do. Like, for the most part, most of the fights in the game are just manage the enemy while also staggering them, and then unleash all your shit on them at once when they're staggered. But just about enough of them have notable variations on that theme to make things not entirely massively boring. Just mostly massively boring after the novelty of all this wears off, which to its credit won't be for another 100 or so fights.
Yeah, you say the game definitely does have its issues in as much as combat essentially becomes a puzzle, and once you solve that puzzle, it's just a matter of repeating it. But we're still a little bit of ways off from that.
Yeah. Like, we're past the prologue and into the tutorial. But how long is the tutorial gonna last?
We fight it! Ragnarok! That's the reason we're l'Cie. To stop it. To keep Cocoon safe.
And I guess Snow was thinking about that while we were walking.
One reason.
Sarah. She said to protect Cocoon. And then she turned to Crystal. That's the proof right there. She completed her focus.
Or
That
it
means
could
ours
be
is
that
to
her
save
focus
Cocoon.
was to gather more people
Sarah's
to become
fal'Cie was the
l'Cie.
same
Did you
as
think of
ours.
that one, Snow?
Our focus has got to be the same.
Snow?
We were chosen to be
Think?
guardians. To defeat Ragnarok.
Nah.
It makes sense.
What the hell it does? You're grasping at straws, son. Post-fal'Cie are Cocoon's enemies. We just got recruited by one of them.
Saz once again showing why he's most people's favourite
If I were a
character.
betting man, I'd put us on the other side.
So Sarah's an enemy too? Well, I don't buy it.
Yes, that's what happens when you get recruited by enemies of the
We
state.
have the power to save Cocoon if we work together and carry out our focus.
The fal'Cie took Sarah from us.
Go,
And you
Lightning.
want to help it? Whose side are you on?
Freeze!
That guy's posing with his gun.
Place your hands behind your heads! You fall off the purge train?
Maybe.
Or are you talking back to me? Huh? Huh?
Nice gun.
I wish the real combat looked this good.
Alright, and this is a scene that I do like, just because it kind of drives home just how much more powerful we are right now. Like, these were all guys who we were fighting for the first chapter or two, and, Snow was literally killing them in one punch.
Yep. Also, this is the point where I have to very quickly eat my words from the earlier episode in which I said the game never tells you about starting a command chain early, but that tutorial we just skipped is where it actually does tell you that, so, well.
Guy's a SciComm, yeah? Supposed to be cream of the crop.
Yeah, but
There's that hand gesture again.
Task force. They haven't fought a war in centuries. Bunch of rookie troops swinging around overpriced toys.
So, from what you're telling me, sounds like a regular old soldier has got more training than special forces.
Nothing for us l'Cie to be afraid of.
Cut the crap. Their grunts might be green, but SciComm's elites are cold-blooded beasts. They hit the field and it's game over.
Spoilers. That's not quite true.
Oh, then let's run away. Ciao!
Oh, that's our Vanille. Oh, so wacky.
What's a man to do?
It's funny that we've got our designated comic relief character who has an afro in which a baby chocobo chick lives, and he comes off as less ridiculous than Vanille. It's a little bit amazing, that. Anyway, get ready for some more incredible incidental dialogue. He's just around here somewhere.
Yeah, this is about the point where I start cutting out encounters. It's like, yeah, you guys get it by now.
Yeah, they got interesting, but then it's just more of the same. Like, it's pretty much the most universally repeated problem with the progression of the game's combat system, is that it just takes too damn long for the game to do anything interesting with the interesting elements that it gives you. and people throw around phrases like 25-hour tutorial,
That doesn't look good.
and they're only slightly wrong.
Alright, well here's something new. If you've been paying attention to the bestiary, this screen should look familiar. This is the Libra screen. You can call it up at any time by pressing R1. But it's not very useful right now.
So let's fill it up.
Right, so we can cast Libra as a technique and it will fill it up for us. This is important because not only does it help you as the player in telling you what their stagger percentage is and what their weaknesses are, it's also how the AI knows what to do.
Yeah, the AI in this game is, and I quote, smart. It will try things against all enemies, and it will make a note on the Libra screen of what works and what doesn't work, and when it finds something that works, it'll stick to it. And if you encounter the same kind of enemy again, it will go straight to doing that stuff, which is pretty cool. And hey, what was that we just did?
Alright, well that is the paradigm shift, and if there is something that is perhaps about as core to the combat as the stagger gauge, it is using the shift.
This game is going to shift the hell out of your paradigm.
Oh, it will. Essentially, it is your button that you use when your strategy is not working. It lets you switch to any of the other paradigms that you have in your active deck.
Yep. People talk about, your party in this game like it's your characters, but really, your party is actually your paradigm deck. It's just a collection of things that you can do, and the thing that makes it interesting is that you can only have 6 of them, and those 6 have to encompass all the strategies that you want to be able to use in combat. Of course, right now, we only have like a tiny amount of characters and a tiny amount of roles, so we don't really need that many paradigms, but later you will actively be somewhat spoiled for choice.
See, that silver bangle we just got is good for an extra 50 HP, so we'll just go ahead and slap it on lightning.
Yeah, the accessories at this point are actually... this is pretty much the only time when the immediate low-level accessories are going to be helpful to us. Eventually our stats will outpace them very quickly.
There was also a thing you might have saw on there called a skill called Physical Wall. We will talk about those later.
Messed up ways to meet. I might as well make introductions.
Yeah,
I'm Snow.
here's the
Nobody
incidental
else.
dialogue.
Short stuff?
Hope Estime.
What about her?
Bodum Security Regiment. She goes by Lightning. Last name's Farron. First, anybody's guess.
You know, she's standing right there, Snow.
Vanille.
Saz, Catsroy. Good to meet you.
Lightning of the unknown first name. What could it be?
It's not right.
Also, best background music ever.
Oh, this music's really good.
I'll keep the kids out of trouble.
Problem with that is, you're one of them.
Hey,
Trying to take on the post-Foul C. That was our first mistake. We should have left it to the Sanctum. Why
And
not?
still Vanille was being
Count on the
insufferable.
Sanctum's Foul C for food, water, everything we've needed since the time we were born.
but you still helped us do it. Why is that? Gotta be something.
There might have been. Not so sure anymore.
It might have had something to do with that thing that he said completely out of nowhere before taking on the Falsey. Maybe? Nah.
Not feeling it.
I'm clearly just reading too much into things.
Oh look, it's a bunch of Pantherans. This is gonna be an interesting fight. Oh wait, no. We kill them in like literally 2 hits.
Yeah, they gave us this cool new combat system. There hasn't really been much to test it on yet, because most of the enemies are still just a matter of hit them a couple times and they die.
In fact, the actual guide for this game literally says like things like Pantheran, like a minor roadblock, if that.
See, if the rest of the game were better, then that would have actually been funny, but as it is, that just comes across to me as just being kind of pathetic. It's sad. I don't know, maybe your mileage will vary if you're one of those people who claims to actually like this game. But I wouldn't know about that.
Alright, so here's something that is actually a little bit useful. The Magician's Mark obviously increases our magic. In this case, Vanille now has more magical power than pretty much anybody does in terms of offense.
And earlier we found a weapon for her that increases her magic. At least I think that was what that one does.
It does. But anyway, we got a boss fight coming up. So let's take a second and demo the other new big thing. This is the Crystarium.
Which is a terrible thing to call anything, just saying. This might just be the worst name for anything ever.
It is, for all intents and purposes, a mini sphere grid.
Like, literally there's a grid and there are spheres on it.
And it's about as linear as the sphere grid is, too.
Oh, it's more linear. The sphere grid actually had a couple of significant branching paths on it. Whereas this is just... yeah.
Alright, the one thing I will say is that the sphere grid is unique for each person. So Lightning's Commando sphere grid is much different than Snow's Commando sphere grid.
Yeah, Snow's grids are weird, but we'll see that much later. But essentially, you're doing the same thing as you're doing on the sphere grid here. You spend points to move along the line and activate the nodes, and each node does a thing. It will raise your stats, or it will teach you abilities, or some of them will do some other things. But really, you're just going along a line. The most meaningful choice that you have is that you can choose which role to level up, and everything except abilities actually counts across all of your roles, which is why there's a point in getting strength as a Ravager.
Well, there's also a point in getting strength as a Ravager because of abilities like Frost Strike.
Ah, yes. Because we said earlier that this game is not just a simple matter of differentiating physical and magical attacks. Commandos have magic attacks and Ravagers have physical attacks. But Ravagers' physical attacks do different things to Commandos' physical attacks.
Yeah, essentially,
Sarah.
even though a Ravager has physical attacks, they still do Ravager things and drive the chain gauge up. It's just that it comes in a physical variant.
For now, this level of analysis qualifies as overthinking. Speaking of overthinking, I have a question. What actually are the physical properties of crystal?
Thanks.
Like, can you just dig it? Like you can any other thing? Is it like ice? Is it like diamond?
Yeah, you're definitely overthinking that one.
This is
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to contextualize exactly how stupid Snow is being in his frantic attempt to dig Sarah out of the
Cycom
ground.
will be here soon. If they find us, we're all dead. You think Sarah'd want that? You think you know how she feels?
And like, this lake is water that got turned into crystal, but Sarah was crystal and then she fell into the lake, and then the lake got turned into
We can
crystal.
handle anything they throw at us.
So
No
where does
one
Sarah
die.
end and the lake begin?
I'll protect Sarah. And Cocoon.
Are the soul-containing properties of crystal transient also? Yes!
Does she look protected to you?
Ah, yes, I love you, Lightning.
I can save her!
Yes, do it again!
What can you possibly do?
Whatever it takes!
People give Lightning a lot of shit, but she does get good reactions from us at this point in the game.
You just can't admit it. You want to stay as much as he does.
Before we can get to that, though, we have an old friend.
Hey,
Whoa, whoa!
see, it has a tail laser and it has a searchlight that looks at people before it attacks them.
So, yep, we got one more tussle with our good friend, the, Manazin Mormac.
And this time it has about 1,000,000 times as much health.
Stand back!
Yeah, this is the fight for real. So fittingly, this is also the fight where it's time to actually play Final Fantasy XIII.
Yep, this is where the game actually gets serious and starts requiring you to know what the hell you're doing.
Alright, so first thing, always Libra enemies. You say just to get the AI on par with what they need to be doing.
See, already we've got valuable information about its weaknesses. You'll notice also that we have a sentinel on the field. Well, we did.
Stay sharp.
Well, do we still? Okay, we still do.
Still do.
Okay. Sentinels are tanks, that's all you need to know for now. But yes, what we're supposed to be doing, and the way that you deal with enemies with ridiculous amounts of health, which from this point on is all of them, is you have to focus on staggering them. And you know, that seems simple enough. You get your Ravagers and you pelt it with magic or whatever, and you've got your Commandos who keep the gauge from going down. But you have to juggle all this with actually, you know, keeping your guys healed and doing, you know, other JRPG combat stuff. So it becomes a juggling act. And you have to carefully time your paradigm shifts so that your guys switch into the roles you want them to be in when you want them to be in them.
Right, yeah, a lot of people like to say that Final Fantasy XIII kind of plays itself, but it really doesn't. You really do have to keep track of what's going on, what the enemy is doing, what you're doing, how much health do you have, do you need to heal? Can you press on and risk can you go for the kill?
Yeah, some of the margins in play are like of the kind you normally only see in action games. But really, the bit of Final Fantasy XIII that you play isn't so much choosing commands as much as it is choosing paradigms. Like, that's the magic. Yeah. And like a good system, it has a good capacity for rewarding specialization. Like, we could have played this entire area up to now just continuously in one Commando, one Ravager, one Medic, and that would have worked, but it would have been kind of boring. What you want to do is be carefully switching between your offensive ones at the time and your defensive ones. And that's how you get 5 stars. Like, I think we actually got, was that half the target time?
Not quite. It was like 358 and I got like 208. I had a second run that I did before that I actually included another paradigm, which was 2 Commandos and a Ravager, and I got the time down to like 150.
Yeah.
We want to help Sarah too.
I think the star rating is just a function of your points per second over, well, combined with how much you beat the time limit by, so it's really not that difficult to get 5 stars on battles,
The army's on our trail.
if you're keeping up.
Now, we gotta keep moving. For now.
So I just abandoned her and saved myself?
What about your focus? What happened to banding together and saving the world? Isn't that what you promised? Now you want to forget it all and die right here?
Damn it, Snow, you can't even be consistently idiotic.
Snow, you're nothing but talk.
Yeah. Still liking Lightning at this point.
Lightning! I'll do whatever it takes. I'll finish this focus and keep Sarah safe.
You don't even know what your focus is!
That's my promise.
Or me. I think he's just in denial over it. Also, thank you, Lightning.
Stay out of trouble.
You do.
Get going.
But
Later.
Okay.
No, Hope continuing to just completely forget.
Oh, wait.
Oh? Is he gonna do it?
Snow,
Save it for next time, kiddo. You'll get left behind.
but
See, eventually this is gonna stop being funny.
It's okay, Hope. Light'll take care of you.
It's funny now.
We'll meet again.
Oh, it's laughable now.
yeah, count on it.
That's a kind of funny, right?
A sad kind of funny, I guess.
Oh, that's Hope. That's what Hope is. He's a sad kind of funny.
I'll get you out of there.
Good luck with that, Snow.
I mean, let's say he did. Like,
Count
she's still a crystal.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he's even planning on doing.
Oh, jeez. Alright, well, it's out with Snow and in with Saws. So, next time, we will pick up from here.
Laters.